in the west, way beyond this chart here. He was way over here, and he came more than 1,000 miles to come to Ephesus. Something about that travel of this dark-skinned man, one of the sons of Adam, through Ham. Alexandria, Egypt, was a powerful city. It had one of the largest libraries of that day. And he matriculated from a very high institution. He was very knowledgeable. And he had become a believer of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he was unsettled about being in Alexandria, so he came to one of the hotbeds of faith and belief, and he came to Ephesus. While he was preaching in the synagogue in Ephesus, Aquila and Priscilla observed him because they were in that congregation that day, and they realized that his doctrine was short. Something about his preaching, he did not quite have the full story. And so they pulled him aside after that preaching. You know, sometimes we need to pull one another aside and say, hey, let's straighten it up. Let's get it right. That's what God wants us to do today. And so they corrected Apollos' theology that the Holy Ghost had already come. Because his message was that the Messiah will come. And the Messiah had already come.
Yes.
And he missed it. And most of the world missed it. And everywhere Paul went, going to the synagogues, the Jews missed it. There was a veil that God put on their face, going all the way back to Moses, 1400 plus BC. And God would not take that veil off their face until Jesus himself would come, who is God himself. You know, it used to trouble me that giving instructions to children that would not get them in trouble, and the very thing you tell them not to do. Y'all remember the story that Bishop Michael Flynn told here about his mother Louise and his younger brothers in this pulpit when he did a revival. He said, she told that boy, he said, boy, stay away from that stove. It's hot. Mm-hmm. And she told Michael, come in the room with me. So they went in the other room, and all of a sudden that boy was in the kitchen, and he screamed. Michael said, what happened? She said, he touched that stove. Well, these Jews, for some reason, they could not accept that Jesus was God.
Yes.
And their Messiah. So everywhere Paul went, he ran into trouble with the Jewish population. Apollos was one of those, the end of the persuasion, all the way